today I'm going to tell you a short story about something that happened to me in me and my wife's life. So, anyways, this happened 20 plus years ago, and I wanted to tell you about it. It kind of relates to values in life. We used to live in downtown Morgantown area, about 10 minutes walk from downtown. It was in the city limits. That's all we could afford at the time. And the house was kind of dilapidated, and we couldn't afford to fix it up or anything like that. We were on food stamps, and really didn't have much money. My wife worked, I worked. We tried to put our kids through school. Get them to school, and the school was right down the road. My kids could walk to school and back, and didn't need a car. We only had one car, so I walked to work every day, 6 days a week. So anyways, I got along with my neighbors. It was just a regular neighborhood. I got along great with my neighbors. So one day in the newspaper, my wife and I seen this couch and love seat for sale. We've been wanting a couch and love seat for sale, but we couldn't afford to buy one from like Big Lots or any kind of furniture store. We just couldn't do it. Just couldn't afford it. And our credit wasn't all that great at the time anyway, so we were stuck. So we called, we went and looked at it. We really liked the set. It was a couch and love seat. So I looked at it, and my wife discussed it and said, hey, we'll just have to tighten up the belt for a week or two and just watch our expenses. And we can just get the couch and pay for it after we get a paycheck. So we gave the guy $50 to hold the couch. And then I talked to a friend of mine. He had a friend that had a truck. We had to give him a couple of bucks to get gas in his vehicle to go pick up this set. And I barely had enough money to buy a case of beer, so we can enjoy ourselves over the weekend. So anyways, we go pick up the couch and love seat, bring it back to the house. But what to do with the old one? The old one was kind of one of them older couch and chair. It was just a couch and chair, it wasn't a love seat. It was played, whatever you call that. And so in the meantime, I just put it on the front porch. It's one of them covered front porch that they have in town. And we put it on the front porch. So every day I come back to work, go to work, come back. My wife would tell me. My wife's very particular. She likes everything clean. She's very meticulous. Doesn't matter if the house is dilapidated, it was still clean. She just did not like to live like a pig. So anyways, she kept bugging me about it. And it was an eyesore. It was an eyesore. And I recognized that. It was an eyesore. So she kept nagging me about it. Nagging me. It's funny, I got tired of listening to it. And my neighbor was there. He was listening to all this. So he helped me put the couch and chair on the curb in front of the house. And I put a sign on it that said free. A week went by, and thank God it didn't rain that week, because it would have ruined. Then I would be forced to find a place to go dump it, or at the dump, which I didn't have the money for, because I had bought the new set, new to us anyways. So we put it on the front right there. I put a sign that says free. So the next day goes by, the next day goes by, a week goes by, and that thing's still there. My wife's still yelling at me. She's not really yelling at me. She's nagging me. She's like, I want this thing out. It looks like trash. We look like trashy people. And I agreed, and it looked pretty bad in front of the house. So my neighbor comes up. He's like, if you put a sign on it that says $25, you'll get rid of it. I was like, you moron. How in the heck am I going to put a sign on that said $25? I couldn't get rid of it when I was giving it away. So how am I going to get rid of it if I put a sign on that says $25? But at this point, I was desperate. So I said, okay, we'll just put a sign on that says $25. Went to work the next day, and lo and behold, it was gone. Somebody had stolen it. My neighbor comes out of his house. He hands me a beer, and he's drinking a beer. We're sitting right there in the middle of the road. And he's like, I told you. I was like, what? He's like, I told you. I watched the whole thing, because he's retired. At that time, he was retired. He's like, I watched the whole thing unravel. I was, what do you mean? He's like, some dirtbag pulled up with an old truck, and then he opened the door and looked around to make sure nobody was looking, because he knew nobody was home. And then somebody else come out of the passenger side and They picked up both the items, put it in the truck, and on their way they went. So I was like, all right, that's awesome. So we laughed, and we laughed about it for years to come. I mean, we laughed. It was a topic of conversation for a long time to come, and we would tell other friends and such. So anyways, the moral of the story is, it depends on what you attach value to something, how much it's worth. Somebody, you ever heard that old saying that says, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. That holds true, and that held true to that statement that year or that day. That you may like I like motivational speakers. I like Zig Ziglar, I like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and Napoleon Hill. But to some person, that might be junk. It depends on what value you attach to that. So if you would like some more value in future videos, please subscribe to below down here. And if you want to go obtain even more value, go to my website right here. It's freedomlifebusiness.com and opt in, and you'll get a daily email from me that'll motivate you more about positive things, the good things in life. So we'll see you on the other side, and see you in the next video.